Amy Elizabeth, it's lovely to have you at the West Mill.
Thanks for having me again.
Welcome. Do you feel like you live here a little bit?
I do feel like I live here a bit, but it's a lovely place to live.
Yes, it is. Now, obviously, you're peak wedding season, aren't you? How's it all going?
It's good, yeah. We're just about to get very, very busy. But yeah, everything's ticking along. So.
Brilliant, brilliant. And how many weddings do you think you've done over here and the River Mill in total?
And the River Mill, maybe, I do a lot. I do so many here, which is so nice, but I don't know, maybe 40.
Wow, okay.
Something like that.
Okay. Well, we're very privileged to have you here for a morning in June.
Yeah.
So, quick one, I mean, really, I suppose it's in terms of photography. Tell us your story. How did you get into it?
Well, I started pre-pandemic. I was working in marketing, and then, you know, classic COVID story, got made redundant, moved home, and then I just wanted to do something different. I always wanted to work for myself, and I was just trying to figure out what that was going to look like. And then I started looking into photography and wedding photography. So I started off with family sessions first, and then moved into being like an assistant photographer at weddings, and then just started building up my portfolio, and it all kind of kicked off from there, really.
Amazing. So, and how did your first wedding feel?
First wedding was, it was good. It was weird actually, because I'm like casting my mind back to 2021 when there was no dancing allowed and things like that. Yeah, it was crazy. So,
and obviously, I always ask this question because you know, in terms of pressure, I mean, it's all on you, isn't it, to capture someone's special day? Surely, I mean, do you ever lose the plot a little bit and think, oh?
I don't think I do. I mean, yeah, you could think of it like that if you think about it too much, but I think knowing now what I do, like I know what to do, you know, so I do feel confident. I mean, every wedding is different in terms of like the people and the vibe and things like that, but then again, every wedding is kind of the same, you know, like people are getting married and these things happen in like the same kind of order. So yeah, no, I feel sort of confident in what I'm doing. So.
And you get quite excited about going to new venues and thinking, right, this is a blank space of like, you can just go wherever you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice to see new spaces and have a little look around.
And how do you feel? What's the sort of job satisfaction that you get after each wedding when you're driving away and you think,
yeah, that's it. I think about like the years to come. It sounds a bit cheesy, but I do think about the years to come, and I've actually kind of made, you know, I've been part of history. I've been part of this family's history. You know, these are the wedding photos that they're going to be up at, you know, future generations' weddings. You know, when you come to weddings, lots of people have pictures of like their parents' weddings and their grandparents' weddings, and I think my photos are going to be there one day.
They will.
You know,
you're iconic. You're making history. Yeah, it's a really, really nice way of looking at it, actually. And what would you say? The most memorable sort of wedding, what makes a really memorable wedding for you?
A memorable wedding? Well, I would say actually, I've had a couple of these when people have got married on another occasion in another place. They might have eloped and then they've come on a separate day, and they've basically, if you imagine everything after the confetti, so the drinks reception, the family photos and all the fun and the speeches, and they've done that on a separate day. And I just think it's a day that's really meant so much to them. They've really done it their way. Those are the really memorable ones.
And actually there's less pressure, isn't there? Because there's actually the church bit is quite pressured when you're kind of going down and you can all eyes on you and
exactly.
And would you say, Amy, that you've got a particular style in terms of the way you shoot? Is it more reportagey or?
Yeah, I would say.
Because your pictures are epic, aren't they?
Thank you.
They are. I am.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I would say if I was going to sort of pigeonhole myself into one, I would say I'm more documentary style. You know, I really like to kind of capture just what is happening on the day. I don't like to force anything. So it's really about, you know, what is happening at the wedding. But that could look a bit more editorial. So I remember actually here downstairs there's a photo of a bride, and she's just sort of chatting, but she was stood with her back to the window, so the light just looked so beautiful on her dress. And that's the documentary moment, but it does look quite editorial as well.
Yeah, definitely, quite fashiony. And obviously we live in a country which is, you know, we are battling the elements. You know,
especially this summer.
Yeah, especially this summer. I mean, we had hailstones in June on Saturday.
Yeah.
So how do you anticipate, I mean, if the bride is set on having an outdoor photograph and it's literally powering it down, what do you do?
Umbrellas.
Umbrellas. Fine.
Just simply dress up, get on with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I always say it's about your attitude on the wedding day. You know, it's going to rain whether you're happy or you're annoyed. So you might as well just make the most of it, because it's not going to stop raining for them as much annoyed as you're going to be.
And you must get so much job satisfaction from couples after the day, like having saying thank yous and did you have any horror stories at all, or like forgetting something, or
not
something
for
breaking?
Me, in fairness, no, touch wood, that has never happened yet. The only horror story I would say is there was a venue I went to. It was probably about 45 minutes from where the couple lived. And the bride's dad forgot his trousers, so he had to go home and he missed the ceremony.
Oh no! Was he walking you down the aisle?
No, thankfully, but
oh no,
ceremony,
bless him.
I know.
Oh, that's not a good one. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's not too
He made
many
it back to all the photos, but...
What makes the ideal venue then, Amy? I mean, you can say us if you want to, obviously. No, but what does make a really easy on the eye for a photographer in terms of what you look at when you go into a new venue? You think, yeah, this is brilliant, or what works well?
It's all it is what's around. It's definitely a lot about light. That's a big thing about the natural light that comes in. So here is great. You've got all the big windows. What's also really nice about the West Mill is, I always say this to couples, is that if it is raining outside, you've got their empty floors. So you can do the family photos, which I did do on Bank Holiday Sunday at the end of May. So I did do their family photos on the top floor in the ceremony room, because it's so beautiful in there anyway. So it doesn't matter that it was raining.
Brilliant. What advice would you give to couples who are looking for their perfect wedding photographer? What would you say look out for? Any warning signs? It's obviously like moving house, it's not finding a venue. You've got to click with that person.
Exactly, that's a big thing. So finding someone that you like as well as that you trust them, those are two major things. So having that call before you book them, I would say, is essential. Even if you've got nothing to ask them, even if you think that they are the perfect photographer for you, just have a call with them, feel them out, because they are going to be there all day. So if you don't like them, then that's kind of an issue. But just making sure that you like their work. Having photos at the same venue, not necessary, is like it doesn't really matter, but as long as you can see that you really like their work, you like their approach and what they do, and that you like and trust them.
Do you advise on doing pre-wedding shoots as an engagement shots?
You can. Not everybody wants to do them. I think it is really nice as well to have that relationship beforehand with your photographer. And I think it does help on the day, so that you kind of know what you're doing and you know sort of how it works. So that on your wedding day you're not too nervous for those. I think it can help.
The groom's getting quite nervous, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But honestly, by the end, and there's little tips and tricks that we can do to make people feel more relaxed. So having a pre-wedding shoot is, it is a good thing to do.
And final question, 2 tips on what to pick, what to have. Do you need a shot list? Is that important?
Yeah, so for family photos, yes. So we know who we're wanting, we can get that organised, because that is herding cats.
I can imagine.
So that is super important.
Do you work with an assistant?
I don't. If a couple want a second, then yes, I would obviously hire somebody. I say that there's only a few instances that you might need a second though. So that would be if you want both your mornings covering and you're getting ready that's more than walking distance away. So if it's walking distance, that's fine. You can probably one person can cover that. But if it's a drive, then you might want to have a second. If you're getting married in a church, sometimes vicars can be a little bit more restrictive on where a photographer can stand or how much they can move. So if you want those alternative photos from the back or from the front, you might be worth having a second photographer there, but not in every case. And I always say if your wedding is more than 100 guests in the daytime, then you might be worth having a second photographer, just so you can get more of those candids. But I say less than that is manageable for one.
You must see so many interesting things in the morning of the wedding, getting ready shots.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I'm sure.
Well, listen, Amy, thank you so much for your time. Honestly, good luck with wedding season, and so grateful to have you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I will see you again soon.